All right, so we're gonna start off with the first question. Um,
Yes, I'm listening all ears.
so what role does communication play in your job? In reference to like, what kind of equipment do you use? Is it face to face, over the phone? Um, is it like FaceTime or Skype where you're like can see each other over the phone?
Well, it is all the modalities in communication. We use face to face. There's radio communication. There's verbal communication on phone, Zoom, televised, video conferencing. So there's a whole modality of different kinds of communications being used.
That's so neat. Oh my gosh. And how important are good communication skills for?
You know, the only way to get anything done is by having good communication skills. So I think that if there's anything in any job, I think it would be in any job, particularly in the work that I am interviewing about, it's all about communication. The wrong communication could end up getting somebody killed if you do not say the things that are correctly, and if they don't hear correctly what you're saying, the other one could interpret it as something really negative, and having to use deadly force to be able to stop the individual from pursuing what he or she is thinking what the directive is.
Wow. So it's very important.
Oh yeah, it's life and death. No.
Wow. um, so
Can you imagine telling somebody, "Don't put your hands in your pocket," and the individual says, and he hears, "Put your hands in your pocket."
oh
So the
man.
individual puts his hands in his pocket, and then you say, "No, don't do that," and he pulls his hands out, and the cop thinks that he's seeing a gun, a knife, something, and at that point, there's an exchange of fire.
So you have to be really clear on what you're saying.
You have to be clear in your delivery, and your receiving has to be clear.
Wow. That's so wow.
Right.
So I guess if you were to put it into terms of which ones are more important, which ones are least, which one would you say is the most important? Oral communication, speaking, writing, or listening? How would you rank them?
It all depends on the situation, right? I think if it's an immediate, it would be a verbal communication. Oral communication would be probably the quickest and easiest form of sending the information. I think if it's something that can be well written out and taken out and rolled out within time, I think then written communication is better because it gives you time to think about what you're going to write, and you can repeat and change the wording in your communication. So I think it could be very clear. I think if you've got too much communication, written or even orally, it really could confuse the receiver, the recipient of the information.
So in every situation, it depends which one goes first and which one.
That's right. If it's something that needs to be immediate, verbal, oral would probably be the best way, best form. Because can you imagine if there's like a bank robbery, you say, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to send him a text," or would you call him on the radio immediately, where there's immediate communication?
And then listening would probably also have to be a key in that, I'm assuming.
The two have to be very equal. If I'm listening, because you remember, even if you're an active listener, that means I ask clarifying questions. So if I hear you tell me something, and then it is my responsibility as an active listener to be able to ask the questions to clarify what you said. So if you tell me something, I should be able to repeat it back to you saying, "You're asking me to do this, this, and this, correct?" And then it gives me the opportunity to say, "Yes, that's exactly what I was saying."
And then I have a question for that. I know you guys also have to do like reports and file reports on incidents. Is that when writing especially needs to be clear as to like what happened and
that is in any kind of report that you do, it has to be very clear of the information. So the less vocabulary that you possess, the lower level of report that you're going to be able to produce. So I would say yes, it has to be given at a very high level with some. You should be able to articulate what you're trying to say of the situation that happened.
That's so. I never realized how important that was. How vital.
Yes.
And so, out of all the communication skills that you have to use, which one would you say you wish you could improve on, or that you were better at?
That's a really good question. I think that I think my issue with communication is I think sometimes I'm too direct in my giving information, where the recipient sometimes feels like it's an attack. And I think just being able to sugarcoat some. I got the peanut group over here laughing. I think being able to soften up the delivery sometimes.
Okay. I don't know.
And both. You know what? In oral, because in written, I'm much better. Because I could read it back out. So I would say oral.
Oral? Wow,
Yeah.
I'm surprised. So, also, not just in skills that you can improve on, but what kind of skills do you wish, like, your coworkers or your bosses or people that you work with were better skilled at?
More direct.
Being more direct.
Because I think other people, from my perspective, have to say 15 pages of information to just say 3 things that need to happen. So I think people get lost. There's a thing called the sandwich approach, which I do not like the sandwich approach whatsoever. Do you know what the sandwich approach is?
No, I actually don't.
Well, that is when you're going to address an issue with an individual. And let's choose you as an example.
Okay.
And I was saying, Ashley, you're such a good kid. You're so good in school. You do everything so well. However, last night you were intoxicated and you fell down the stairs and you were screaming like a 5-year-old and blah, blah, blah. You made a fool out of yourself.
Wow.
Well, but you know what? I love you so much. You're such a good kid. I just trust you so much. Everything is good. And that's it.
No.
So that's called the sandwich approach. So you have the good, the bad, and the good. So the person doesn't feel like they're being attacked. And to me, I hate that approach.
Yeah, I don't think I like that very much. I'd rather it just get to the point and tell me what needs to happen.
It is, and then I walk away knowing exactly what you meant.
Yeah.
And you're walking away and me saying...
That's kind of... that's kind of confusing. Like, you don't know if you were trying to, like, compliment or if you were trying to, like...
Tell them something.
Yeah.
Yep. I agree.
But
people call it the sandwich approach. So it's part of communication.
Huh. That's very interesting.
It is.
I don't like that much. Well, this was all very good information. I learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Good. You're welcome very much.